The hood of the white pickup truck was bent over as if someone had sat on it in anger. The fence around the house had become an accordion of broken planks. Cody Harland staggered out through the doorway, stepped onto the soaked grass, and stood there for a second, trying to convince his body that it was just a scare, a common mistake, just another night. The street disagreed. A dog barked incessantly. A man yelled, "Call 911!" as if no one else knew. From the porch, a woman grabbed her daughter by the arm and glared at Cody with a fury that didn't need any profanity. The girl had blood near her eye, a little but enough to leave her mother trembling. Cody raised his hands, the rehearsed gesture of someone who always managed to get away with talking his way out of things. "It was an accident, ma'am. Everything's fine. The woman cut it. "You almost walked into my office." Cody looked at the house. The window was intact, but crooked. The porch post had a crack that looked like an open mouth. He felt a metallic taste at the back of his throat and tried to swallow, as if swallowing would solve anything. Blue lights painted the street before the sound of the siren arrived. Then the sound came, loud, hammering. 2 county patrol cars braked near the corner. Doors opened. Hurried footsteps, voices. Hands visible. "Stay where you are." Cody recognized the first voice. Deputy Collins. Collins was the kind of guy who greeted Cody's father with respect and had called Cody champ since he was a kid. Cody expected the usual script. A look of pity, a "let's sort this out," a discreet nudge into the car, and a whispered warning. Collins stepped out with the flashlight in his hand. The light swept across the wreckage, the mother, the child, the crumpled hood, and stopped on Cody's face. "Cody." Collins pronounced the name as if it were a burden. "Stay there." Cody tried to give a half smile. "Collins, relax. I just slipped." Nothing happened. Collins didn't relax. He moved closer, and the smell of alcohol became obvious in the cold air. Cody noticed it from the way Collins clenched his jaw. "Have you been drinking?" Collins asked. Cody let out the short sigh that always came when someone asked a stupid question. "You know who I am." The sentence came out smoothly. It was the key. It was the pass. It was what he had been repeating since adolescence when he wanted to bend the world with his finger. Collins did not deviate. "I know," he replied. "That's why you're going to cooperate. Turn your back." Cody blinked. "You're kidding me. Turn around, now." Cody took a step, irritated, as if he were about to argue in his chest. Collins grabbed his forearm and pulled it back. The metal of the handcuff bit into his wrist. The click echoed through the entire street, and when Cody looked over his shoulder, he saw several cell phones already raised, recording, as if that street had become a stage. "You're putting on a show," Cody growled. "My dad's going to kill you." "For this?" Collins handcuffed his other hand and spoke softly, without anger, only with a weariness that Cody couldn't quite put his finger on. "It doesn't get any worse." The younger congressman approached, wearing gloves and carrying a breathalyzer. "Sobriety test." Cody laughed, short, forcing the laugh out. "I'm not going to blow anything. Call my dad." The girl's mother uttered a word that came out like a spit. "Sure." The sheriff's son. Cody felt his face grow hot. The word son there didn't sound like a privilege. It sounded like an accusation. Collins was already speaking on the radio, and Cody heard what he didn't want to hear. Suspected DUI, minor injury, property damage. This wasn't street gossip. It was official documentation. "Collins," Cody said, trying to sound more intimate, "you're exaggerating. It's going to turn into a mess." Collins looked to the side, saw the cell phones, saw the mother hugging her daughter, saw a neighbor pointing at the pickup truck with his chin raised as if he finally had proof of something. "It's already turned around," Collins replied. The father arrived without sirens, but quickly. Ray Harland parked awkwardly and got out of the car with his coat open, his face serious. The neighborhood grew quieter just seeing the sheriff there. Ray walked to Collins first, not to his son. Authority before family. It had always been that way. "What's going on?" Ray asked. Collins explained, short and direct. The conversation broke the rhythm. When he said, "your son," it never sounded normal to say that around the sheriff. Cody leaned back in the car seat, seeking his father's gaze. "Dad, tell him to take that off. It was an accident." Ray opened the back door and lowered his face to Cody's level. His voice was low and controlled. "Have you been drinking?" "Just—" Cody hesitated, the lie ready on the tip of his tongue. "Just a few beers." Ray closed his eyes for a moment, as if trying not to explode. "You're going to take the test. You're going to stay quiet. Understand?" Cody stared, confused. "Are you on my side or their side?" Before Ray could answer, a different patrol car turned the corner. White, clean, state emblem on the door. A trooper got out. Tall, rigid posture, unfriendly gaze. This one wasn't going to have dinner at the sheriff's house. "Sheriff Harland," the trooper called. Ray straightened his body. "It is me, Trooper Mark Ellis, State Patrol. Central alerted us due to a conflict of interest. From now on, we'll take over." Cody felt his stomach sink. Conflict of interest was the polite way of saying, "Your last name doesn't rule here." Ellis approached the police car and looked at Cody as if he were looking at a file. "Cody Harland? What if I go?" Cody replied, trying to regain his old courage. "You're going to come down, you're going to take the test with me, and you're going to stop arguing. Any resistance will become an extra charge." Cody let out a nervous laugh. "You don't know who you're talking to." Ellis didn't even blink. "I know. That's why I'm here." Cody came down in handcuffs. The whole neighborhood watched. The girl's mother held the bandage on her daughter's face. A paramedic cleaned the blood and spoke calmly. The contrast was overwhelming. Cody trying to appear important, the child trying to stop crying. Ellis started the tests on the grass. Straight line, heel to toe, eyes following the flashlight. Cody tried, missed, laughed, almost fell. His laughter died quickly, because no one laughed along. "Blow," Ellis said, extending the device. Cody looked at his father. Ray stood motionless, with a kind of pain Cody had never seen in him before. "Blow," Ray said, and the word sounded like defeat. Cody blew. The whistle sounded. Ellis looked at the display and put it away slowly. "Detention." The word fell. Cody felt as if someone had pulled the ground out from under him. "No!" he shouted. "That's ridiculous." Ellis handcuffed his hands behind his back again and shoved him toward the state patrol car. Cody tried to lock his feet. He tried to twist his body. He tried to make the world go back to normal by screaming. "You're ruining my life," Ray yelled back, louder than Cody expected. "Stop!" Cody stopped, shocked by the voice. He glared at his father with hatred. "You're letting this happen." Ray took a step, but didn't touch him, and that not touching hurt more than the metal on his wrist. "I'm not going to lie for you again," Ray said softly, almost breathless. The car door closed. Cody stared at the neighborhood through the window and saw a neighbor's cell phone pointed at him, recording his face, his humiliation. He saw the girl's mother pointing at the damage, as if presenting a crime. He saw Collins standing there, his face heavy, not celebrating. Nobody seemed happy. They just seemed tired. In the county jail, Cody waited, sitting on a concrete bench, trying to find in time the same door that always opened. He asked for a phone. They told him to wait. He asked to speak to his father. They said later. The word later became his enemy. When the public defender entered with a folder, Cody's jaw already ached from clenching it so hard. "Cody Harland," she said. "I want my lawyer. I want—" "You have me," she interrupted. "And you're going to listen to me because there's video." Cody froze. "Which video?" She put her cell phone in front of him. It was the bar's parking lot. Neon lights flashed across Cody's face. Loud laughter. The phrase rang out like a joke, like a trophy. "Nobody touches me, my old man's the sheriff." Cody felt the shame hit him like a fever. "That's old news," he tried. "That proves nothing." "It shows attitude," she replied. "And attitude matters when the prosecutor decides whether to make an example of you." The preliminary hearing was quick and dirty. The state prosecutor spoke about the charges and the child's injury. The judge listened and looked at Cody as if he were looking at someone who had already been given too many chances. When asked if Cody wanted to say anything, he opened his mouth and let it all out, because that was all he knew how to do. I'm being persecuted because of who I am. The judge tilted his head as if he had heard that 1,000 times. You are being treated as you should have been treated before. The difference now is that there are too many witnesses and too little patience. Cody searched for his father with his eyes. Ray was in the background, without a hat, without any pose. He didn't look back. There was a hefty bail, immediate license suspension, random testing, mandatory treatment, a restraining order against the affected family, and community service. It wasn't just a scare, it was a path to follow. Outside the courthouse, reporters waited. Microphones appeared. Questions. Flash. Ray, cornered, uttered the cleanest, coldest sentence he could muster. My son will be held accountable like any other citizen. Cody heard this later on video and felt as if his father had signed his own death warrant. At home, without driving and without his friends, Cody discovered what true silence was. His cell phone stopped ringing. The friends who had been laughing at the bar vanished as if they had never existed. When Cody passed by the market, conversations would stop midway. At the gas station, the attendant would look at his wrist as if remembering the handcuffs. In the neighborhood, the neighbors of the house that had been hit didn't want a conversation. They wanted distance. In the mandatory program, Cody tried to maintain his usual composure. It didn't last long. Nobody there cared about last names. A tattooed man with a deep gaze spoke without asking permission. You're the prince of the county, right? Cody tried to smile. I don't know what you're talking about. Yes, they know, everyone knows, but nobody cares in here. Cody hated it. He hated it because it was true. He started his community service on the side of the highway, fluorescent vest, trash bag, tweezers, sun beating down, cars passing by, a few honks, a shout from afar. Hey, Untouchable! Cody pretended not to hear, but his neck burned. One day, the program supervisor put Cody on a repair crew. He read an address, and Cody felt a chill in his stomach, the house he had hit. It wasn't an official lesson. It was life slamming his face against what he had done. The mother opened the door without shouting. He pointed to the fence. Fix that. Properly. She won't go outside if it creaks. The girl appeared behind her with a small bandage near her eye. She looked at Cody as if he were some dangerous thing that had lost a tooth. Cody began to hammer. Wood, nails, screws. The creaking gradually faded. Sweat dripped down. A heavy sense of shame. The girl went down 2 steps. Stood 2 meters away from him, and spoke in the simplest way possible, without malice, without irony. Don't drive drunk. Cody swallowed hard. Okay, he replied. I'm not going. The mother stared at him with her arms crossed. Stop thinking the world owes you something, she said, because one day it will collect. Cody put away his tools and left without looking back. In the show's truck, his cell phone vibrated with an invitation from the bar. His old life was calling, as if nothing had changed. Cody quickly deleted the notification, almost angrily, as if deleting it would rid him of the impulse. Things remained stable for a while, stable in an ugly way. Routine of exams, meetings, work, home. Ray continued working, but his job had become a hostile place. Auditing, investigations, harsh stares. There were people who had swallowed privileges for years and now wanted to spit them out. Ray endured it quietly, and that scared Cody more than a scream. One night, Ray sat on the porch and found Cody there looking at the street. You think I abandoned you? Ray said bluntly. Cody didn't respond right away. His pride tried to find a phrase, but couldn't. I always saved you. Ray continued. I saved you too many times. I taught you that a surname opens doors, but doors that are too open become an invitation to fall. Cody turned his face away. So it's your fault? Ray let out a short, humorless laugh. It's your fault, and I'm partly to blame because I let it happen. Now, it's over. Cody felt a rage that had nowhere to be contained. All that remained was emptiness. It was this emptiness that made him air again. A friend showed up with smooth talk, saying it was just a matter of taking a walk, getting out of this mess, chilling out. Cody agreed, thinking he was in control. He stopped in a parking lot behind a diner with half a dozen people, low music and idle chatter. For 15 minutes, he breathed as if he had returned to normal, until someone recognizes them and wants blood. A large, unshaven man approached and spoke loudly enough to draw an audience. "Look who's here!" The sheriff's son. Cody froze. The man continued, "My brother lost his job because of his criminal record. Your father had him arrested for less than what you did, and you're out there, free, thinking you're king." Cody felt the impulse rising. His hand clenched, the old reflex of settling things with his chest, with a push, with a blow. His friend tried to hold back. "Let's go, Cody." Cody pushed his friend without meaning to knock him over, but he did. A cell phone appeared, filming, as always. The big man laughed. "Go on, Prince. Show that you're untouchable." Cody stepped forward and struck the man in the shoulder. It wasn't hard. It was enough. Enough to constitute a violation. 2 patrol cars arrived quickly. One of them was a state car. Trooper Ellis got out with his usual calm, and his calmness seemed even worse now. He looked at Cody as if he were seeing a repeat performance. "Seriously?" Ellis asked. Cody opened his mouth. The old phrase almost slipped out. "It did. You know who I am." Ellis stared without blinking. No. That's why I'm not going to turn a blind eye." The handcuffs tightened again. The metal was more forceful than the first time, or perhaps Cody was feeling it more. The crowd in the parking lot filmed, some laughing, others just wanting to see it end. Cody looked at his own wrist and realized too late that it wasn't the metal that was holding him. It was habit. In the detention center, he was left alone, listening to footsteps in the hallway, waiting for his father to appear and forcefully break down the door. His father did appear, but he didn't break anything down. Ray stopped outside the fence, out of uniform, his eyes red with tiredness. "I'm getting out of here," Cody said quickly, almost pleadingly. Ray shook his head once. "Not today." Cody felt the hatred rising, and beneath the hatred came fear, pure and unmasked. "So you're going to leave me here?" Ray moved closer to the fence, his voice low, like someone talking to a small child without waking the whole house. "I'll let you learn, because I can't save you from what you keep repeating." Cody tried to say something, anything that would turn into emotional blackmail. Nothing came out. The sound of keys grew closer. An agent opened the hatch and spoke curtly. "Get up. Violation hearing." Cody stood up. The metal door opened. He took a step into the hallway and heard the door slam shut behind him with a short, final bang.